Okay, YouTube friends everywhere. Bobby, I'm going to be counting on you to notify me if we have any hiccups in the stream. Looks like we've got a significant delay. Um, I don't know how big that delay is. It looks like it's a half a minute or so. So that's a big one. I've got a couple of things to finish up right here, and then we're going to go on the air. Quick as I get 721's location in here. Where is he at? Is he in 721? Um, Rockmart. I knew that. I just didn't know that. Okay. We are all up to. Oh wow, we have 27 early check-ins. Holy cow! Seems like a lot. I don't know where they all came from. All right, let's see. I got to find a script. I had that here a minute ago. It's not there, and it's not there. Let me see if it's. I'm gonna have to dig it up from Open Sesame. Here we go. I've got to change that from spreadsheets to documents, and it should be right there. And here we go. Right on top of my log. That's not good. There we go. That'll work. All right. Better late than never, isn't that right? Here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight I'll be working off the flagship 675 repeater, and this evening we are linked in with the following machines. The Somerville 575 machine, Lookout Mountain, the McDonough machine, Columbus, which is back on the air and bigger than ever, Zebulon, Crawford, Moreland, Noonan, Jersey. Did I say Somerville? Somerville's definitely in there. And, of course, the VoIP service, also known as Zello. Tonight, our RF coverage is approximately 31,000 square miles, but because of Zello, we are worldwide. And at some point, once Elon Musk has his Starlink satellites circling around Mars, we will be multi-planetary. I look for that to happen sometime in the next, probably right after Bremen comes on the air. Okay, so on the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we'd like to hear. This is a family-based network, so we encourage you to get your family involved. Once the floor is open, it is permissible to address other members of the net by their name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in or sign out of the net. At this time, I will acknowledge our early check-ins. Let me break. Okay, something doesn't look right here. Give me 1 second to fix whatever this is. And no, that's the wrong way. Let's see, what is today? The 29th. There's my log. I don't know what happened. Okay, first on our early bird check-in list is Atlanta 285. CV in Murrayville is in and out this evening. And by relay, Atlanta 286 and 287, Lynn and Trey, are also in and out this evening. Thank you to the Smith family for checking in tonight. It's great to hear from you. I hope all is well up there. Atlanta 750, Jeff in Waleska, looking for a report of good news about the dog. Atlanta 420, William in Roswell is in and out this evening. Oh, Jeff is also in and out, so we might not get that good news report, but hopefully he'll have a chance to come in here and tell us what happened with the dog. Atlanta 402, Todd in Cumming is in and out tonight. It's dinner time over there, so he'll be busy with that. Atlanta 312, Stacy in Emerson is in and out with us this evening. Thank you, Stacy, for checking in. We have Atlanta 313, Jason in Rome. Jason, I've got you in the log as in and out, mostly because I could hardly hear you. But if you can get to a better position and you are able to break in, we would love to hear from you tonight. And we have apparently lost our link. I don't see any link activity on the monitor. Let me refresh that. Maybe it just needs to be refreshed. Stand by one moment. All right. Okay, Bobby, are we up and running now? Is it okay for me to proceed? All right, did flagship go down? WQIR 514, Atlanta 946 testing.
Yeah, according to the computer link, Justin, flagship's not on nothing there.
All right, I know we've been having some intermittent internet issues on that link. We need to get our cellular modem back in play at that location. Maybe that can happen sometime next week. All right, well, I guess we're going to proceed on the flagship machine in standalone mode. Bobby, shoot me a text and let me know that the stream is working. I think we missed the first few minutes on the stream. Not entirely sure. It looked like it was playing, but then all of a sudden it looked like it wasn't. So, all right, where was I? I believe I was acknowledging Atlanta 253. Donald in Blairsville is in with us this evening, if we can get the link restored. Atlanta 434, Ron incoming in with us tonight. Atlanta 760, Tony from, I didn't get it all entered. Sati Nakuchi, I think is how you say that. I'm going to have to Flip, can you fix that for me for Tony? Sati Nakuchi, Atlanta 760, and get that in there so that I remember to say it when he comes. Thank you, Tony, for checking in with us tonight. It's great to hear you on the air. Atlanta 403, Bobby in White County, helping me out remotely. And Atlanta 138, Robert in Auburn is in and out with us this evening. Thank you, Robert, for checking in. Atlanta 948, Gary in Woodstock is also in and out tonight. Thank you, Gary, for your check-in tonight. Atlanta 644, Sean in Alpharetta. I've got you in the log. Sean, looking forward to talking with you, as well as Atlanta 780, Houston in Powder Springs. Chattanooga 58, Bill in Chattanooga is in the log tonight, so I'll be coming back to you, Bill, in a little bit. Atlanta 180, Mike in the cereal bowl. I'll be coming to you, Mike, right away, so that we can learn a little bit more about coming events. McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge is in tonight, and we have a couple in and outs. Atlanta 104, Lynn in Buford has some chores to do tonight, and we have Atlanta 753, Mike in Land O'Lakes, Florida, listening to us on the live stream tonight. Thank you, Mike, for hanging out with us. I'm glad to have you in here, but I wish that you were comfortably at home. So we'll leave it at that, and thank you, Jeff, for that relay. Atlanta 417, William in Auburn is in with us tonight. Atlanta 292, Derek in Rockmart, in and out at the fire station. Found that great spot so that if you need to check in again, that's a spot to do it from. Atlanta 756, Russell in Marietta is in with us tonight. Atlanta 252, Shad in Emerson in with us tonight, and Atlanta 721, David from Rockmart is in with us tonight. Those are our early check-ins. Let me break.
The link is back up, Justin.
Excellent news. Thank you for that, Houston. I appreciate that. So thanks for everyone who's taken the time to make an early bird check-in. I'll now take additional check-ins. So when you sign in, please speak slowly and clearly as you give your call sign, your tactical unit number, your name, and your location. All four of those things, please. At this time, I'll take check-ins from any VoIP user. Anyone using Zello, please call Net Control now. All right, I like to make a nice long break for the Zello users because sometimes it can be a challenge to get in here using Zello. So, but not hearing anything from the Zello side of the world, I'm going to go ahead and move on. And let's see what else we've got here. So next, we're going to take check-ins from any guests or new users or visitors to the area. This is anyone who is a licensed GMRS user but is not a member of North Georgia GMRS, and also any youth members who would like to check in. I'll take check-ins now. Net control standing by. Okay, and not hearing anything there, we'll go ahead and open it up to any repeater anywhere. Anyone wishing to check into the North Georgia GMRS net, and this includes any new users, any visitors, guests, or youth members. Anyone at all, please call net control now.
This is Atlanta 172, WRHW 610, Greg from Bremen. I'll be checking in and out, but I'm going to be listening. If I can, I'll chime in at my time, but if not, jump over. Good evening.
This is 122 Maureen from Adairsville checking in and maybe checking out any other time. Thank you.
On the net, WRCD 796.
Hold on 1 second there, folks. Marty, I got you in there, but there was a double. And behind you, Marty, I heard Maureen. Maureen, could you come back with your tactical unit number and your location, please? And I know I spelled your name wrong, but I'll fix that in a minute.
No problem. It's WRMM 689, Atlanta 122, and it's Maureen from Adairsville.
Thank you, Maureen, for that. Atlanta 122, Maureen from Adairsville. Got you in log. Looking forward to chatting with you. Also have Noonan 29 Marty in Tyrone in the log. Any other check-ins? Net control standing by.
This is WREB 450, Atlanta 26, Flip, coming to you from beautiful Druid Hills. Also, by way of relay, Atlanta 27, Ashley is checking in tonight. She's actually not yet home, but hopefully she'll be home in a little bit. Probably in and out, though. This is WRCB 25.
WRAI-860, Atlanta 622, Shane, Cummings, Georgia.
This is Atlanta 435, WRKR 284. Cumming, Georgia. Marcia.
This is Atlanta 72, WRDM 549.
All right, folks, I'm having a really tough time hearing tonight. I think it's my station. I'm not exactly sure. But let me go ahead and give you what I've got. I've got Atlanta 26 Flip from the beautiful Druid Hills in tonight. I've got Atlanta 27 Ashley also from Druid Hills tonight, in and out. I have Atlanta 644 Sean, and let's see, where's Sean at? He is in Alpharetta. And there were 2 or 3 after Sean, and I didn't get them. I didn't hear them very clearly. So if those stations can come back, please, I'll try to get you in here.
This is
WRAI-860, Atlanta 622,
Marcia from Cumming, Georgia.
Now, okay, we had a pretty solid double in there, but I think I heard someone from Cumming. Station from Cumming, please come back.
435, Atlanta 435, WRKR 284, Marcia.
Okay.
Atlanta 22, WRKR 850, Shane from Cumming, Georgia.
This is Atlanta 442, WRAH 210, Craig and Ackworth checking in.
WRKN 627, Atlanta 739, Glen and Canton checking in.
This is Atlanta 172, WRHW 610, Greg in Bremen, checking in for the second time. I'll be in and out, so when you call my time, I may come in and I may not. If I do not, jump over me. Good evening, everybody.
This is Sam in Canton at Atlanta 657, WRNA 237.
Okay, let me go ahead and acknowledge some of these. Atlanta 172, Greg in Bremen. My apologies, I failed to acknowledge you earlier, and I've got you in here. Greg, I'm going to show you in for now, but I understand that if you're not there when I call, we'll just go ahead and mark you in and out and then move on. But we've definitely got you in here, Greg. And let's see, I've got Atlanta 435, Marcia incoming. And I have Shane also incoming, but let me see. Is that where is that? I don't have the TAC number for you, Shane. Can you come back with your TAC number, please?
Atlanta 622.
All right, Atlanta 622. Shane incoming. There we go. That makes perfect sense. Okay, I've got you in there now, so that is fantastic. Next on my list is Atlanta 442, Craig in Ackworth. Then I have Atlanta 739 is Glenn in Canton. And I have Atlanta 657 is Sam, also in Canton. Thank you all for your check-ins. Let me go ahead and get this caught up here a little bit, and then we'll see if we have any additional check-ins. Net control standing by for any additional check-ins.
This is Atlanta 308, WRJF 981, Dan in Marietta.
All right, Atlanta 308, Dan in Marietta. We have a fantastic start to the evening, and I think we'll go ahead and kick things into gear. But before we do, I would like to take a moment and discuss with Atlanta 180 coming events. Mike, do you have any news for the group?
Well, I hope it's not news. I would prefer to know that the group can hear me. How's my transmission coming to you, Justin?
Well, at the moment, it's great, but in 15 or 20 seconds, who knows? But let's give it a best shot, Mike. And, you know, we've got new users all the time, so I promise you this will be brand new news to some.
Well, I kind of doubt it. I asked you and Atlanta 123 for help in getting the word out there, and y'all have exceeded my expectations, and I think the news is spreading far and wide. In case it hasn't reached you, we're having a meeting. I know from personal experience in the South that meetings don't go over well, unless there's eatings associated with them.
So we're having an eating and a meeting about noon on Saturday the 7th. Let me take a break. I haven't figured out this timer yet. Our meeting starts at, well, the food arrives about noon. Whenever you arrive is up to you. Whenever you arrive and whenever you want to leave, that's entirely up to you. At the top of the dam, that's easiest to describe, near the intersection of I-75 and Georgia State Route 20, right outside of Cartersville. I think it's going to be a fun time to put some faces and some names besides some numbers that you hear. We're going to have things to give away. We're going to have really good food. We're going to be down by a lake. If you want to get wet, plan on getting wet. I've got some beach balls. I got some frisbees. I don't know how to describe it more than that, other than I'm really looking forward to meeting a bunch of you yahoos. I hope you can find the time to come share yourselves with the rest of us. Another break, please. One comment having nothing to do with the doodah, Justin. You know, children are born with no patience. It's a learned virtue. And I was always cutting class when it was time to learn patience. You excel at it. You're doing a great job tonight. Any questions I might answer about the eat and meet on Saturday the 7th at Altoona Dam?
Mike, is Altoona Dam the name of the park that if I just search for Altoona Dam, will I find it?
Well, it's a U.S. Well, actually, the place, we have two places reserved in case one's not big enough. We're going to Cooper Trail Park 1 and Cooper Trail Park 2. They are the public parks with pavilions and restrooms and all of that, located at the top of the dam. I don't know what you would call it, but just go to the Corps of Engineer website and look up. Hey, I got people that do that, and Tim has already done that. 123 is excellent at that stuff. I'm sure if I ask kindly, he will do it again. But if you just Google find Google Maps, look at the top of the dam, Altoona, and you'll find it. And we're right there beside the top. Go to I-75 and State Route 20, head west like you was going to Canton, and turn right at the first traffic light, and drive straight ahead until you find the place we're talking about. I'm not good with coordinates and that sort of stuff, but yeah, Google Altoona Dam, look at the top, you'll find where we're going.
That sounds suspiciously familiar. Atlanta 780 Houston. Is that the place that we gathered before with, was it Paul and, shoot, I'm drawing a blank on names here, but is that the place we gathered before?
No, sir, I don't think so. I think that's the Corps Engineers side up there that he's talking about. We were, I think, a little further north. I'm not absolutely sure, to be honest, Justin.
Yeah, I'm not absolutely sure either. But it did sound suspiciously familiar, especially the turn right off of the highway and make your first right. But in any case, if anyone has any questions, we do have some posts pinned to the top of the Facebook page. So if anybody wants to get more information, that's a quick and easy way to get it. Go to the North Georgia GMRS Network Facebook page, and there will be some information pinned to the top about this gathering right there. And Food and drink are provided. If there are any specific beverages that you wish to have, you might bring them along. There's no need to bring much of anything else. I think that everything is pretty well provided. And all that Mike is asking for is your presence, and that will be his present. And Mike, have I got that correct?
Absolutely perfect, Justin. Yeah, your presence is all I ask, and a good positive attitude. You know, our food is covered, our drink is covered. I would point out that adult beverages are not allowed in Corps of Engineers parks, and one of the things I always like to take to a park, to a meeting or a picnic when invited, is it'd be nice if somebody bring a great big knife and a watermelon. That'd be nice. Maybe you should bring maybe you should bring a couple of folding chairs. I think there's just picnic tables to sit at. And if you're going to get in the water, probably want to bring a towel, but it's a free-for-all. Do it your way. Just don't worry too much about the food.
Well, fantastic. And I think a watermelon is a great idea. And I always carry a Leatherman. It's not the best tool in the world for digging into a watermelon, but by golly, if that's what it takes, we'll get her done. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Mike, I want to say thanks for putting this together and putting your heart and soul into it. And I'm excited about it. I know that 947 is looking forward to attending. And we're going to try to gather up a small crew and bring them that way. I believe 911 has indicated that she'll go. Atlanta 948 is going to try to go. If he's feeling up to it, he'll be there. And I think Atlanta 940, also known as Red 40, is planning to attend. So and she'll likely bring her crew. So that's about the size of the folks that I'll be in my posse up there, Mike. But I'm looking forward to visiting with you and with many others. And for all the new folks that are listening in tonight, this is something that we do periodically. So if you can't make this one, that's okay. Mike's going to be disappointed, but I'll pat his back and I'll make him feel better. And we'll look forward to seeing you at another gathering coming up soon. But there's no obligation to this. There's no cost associated with it. So please come and enjoy, and we look forward to the fellowship. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on with tonight's program. So what prompted this? Let me break here real quick. What prompted this is that someone approached us and said, "Hey, I'm selling insurance, and I'd like to give you a quote." And so I said, "Okay, but I think I've got a pretty good deal going on. You're going to have to work pretty hard to beat it." And not only that, but there's some things I want to know. So for me, it's not enough to have a good rate. I need to know that I've got a good agent, that I'm going to be represented if something happens, that I'm going to be able to expect a reasonable result if I file a claim. It's not enough. Someone had indicated that, well, I've got Geico. Well, I know people who have had those inexpensive insurance policies, and they're great until something happens. They're really tough to get them to pay a claim. And we've had some incidents here through our lives where insurance is there for a reason, and that reason is sometimes things happen that you can't really afford to pay for. For instance, we had some water damage at our house in Fort Wayne, and the bill for that ran into $33,000, I believe it was. And that's not something that I could have just absorbed. Had I been on the hook for $33,000, there's repairs to that house that probably never would have been done. But on the alternative, because we had good insurance, we were able to come out of that, not only having the house fully restored, working with the insurance company and with the contractor, we put some additional money into the project and ended up having new windows installed in the house, new siding, and a small room addition put on. So money out of our pocket to pay for the enhancements and insurance money to pay for the damages. And that combined resulted in a really good situation all the way around. So that's what I'm looking for. Stories and circumstances, and insurance companies and agents have gone above and beyond and have done well for our membership. And I'd love to hear stories like that from folks in the group. So let's go ahead and kick things off and go right to the top here to Atlanta 285 CV Smith in Murrayville, who is in and out tonight, as well as Atlanta 286 and 287 Lynn and Trey, also from Murrayville, also in and out. Atlanta 750 Jeff in Waleska is also in and out. You know, when we started taking check-ins, I had so many in and outs, I was afraid this whole insurance thing was, going to be nobody wants to talk to me. So we had Atlanta 420 William in Roswell, also doesn't want to talk to me, in and out. But seriously, though, thanks everyone for your check-ins. Even your in and out check-ins, I'm glad to take them. Always enjoy hearing from you and getting you here in the log. Atlanta 402 Todd in Cumming is at dinner. Maybe he'll be finished by the time we come around, but for now he's in and out. We have Atlanta 312 Stacy in Emerson is also in and out. But I want to tell you, I've commissioned Stacy to make some shirts and hats that we'll be giving away at the gathering. So if you're interested in a shirt or a hat, be sure and be there. That's a great way to get one. And thank you, Stacy, for creating those for us. Looking forward to seeing you and Chad there on the day of. Next on my list is Atlanta 313 Jason in Rome. Jason, I hope to hear from you, but I've got you in and out because it was just tough getting you in here. We got you in here by a relay, thanks to McDonough 22. So the first one we're going to talk to tonight is Atlanta 253 Donald in Blairsville by way of Zello. Donald, do you have any insurance stories that you want to tell me, or do you have any other stories or events you'd like to talk about? Yeah, maybe the link dropped again. No, it looks like the link is still up. So, Donald in Blairsville, it's your turn. Are you ready?
Good evening, Justin, and good evening to the rest of the net.
Good evening, Donald, and just wanted to see how things were going with you, and if you had any insurance stories that you wanted to share with the group, or any other news or information.
Just got done with a camp meeting and just busy.
All right. Well, still at the camp meetings and busy as can be. I've got you in and out at this point, Donald, so you can go ahead and log off for the evening. Hope you'll listen in for a while, and thanks for checking in with us tonight. And we'll catch up with you real soon. Next on my list is Atlanta 434 Ron in Cumming. Ron, do you have any insurance stories you'd like to share, and any other news or events going on?
Hey there, Net Control. Justin, you're doing a great job tonight. I don't have any real news or anything, but insurance stories, well, they're not always good.
No, they're not.
Definitely had my share of dealing with insurance companies. Had a couple of claims here at the homestead and kind of got shorted, I guess. Need to reclaim some of them. I'm hoping that the quotes I've got from some contractors will help, and hopefully get some of the issues that I claimed taken care of in the next couple of weeks. Want to try to get that done. Really need to get my pool table set back up, and I'm going to do that in the garage. And I need to get that garage cleaned up. There's some issues with the ceiling. Problems with the ceiling in there, so I'm trying to get that resolved.
Well, yes, and I know that not all insurance stories are good. I can tell you that from firsthand experience, and sometimes it can be a challenge, especially when you're in the middle of it, much like Houston is, and much like Atlanta 6-0 has recently come through. Some challenging insurance claims, and hopefully, you can get things settled out and taken care of. When we had our water damage here at this house in Georgia, we had a much different experience with the insurance company, and from the very beginning, things weren't going well, and my insurance adjuster was dragging his feet, and he was just nothing but trouble, and I felt like he was lazy. He didn't want to do his job, and I couldn't understand why he couldn't come out and do the assessments, and he couldn't come out. And it was so hard to get a hold of him on the phone. And so finally I went to corporate and I said, hey, look, I need you to assign an insurance adjuster that's interested in doing the work, because this one's not cutting it. He's not answering his phone. He's not returning calls. And well, they didn't give me another adjuster. They made me stick with that one. And it went from bad to worse. Apparently he felt like I was trying to get him fired, and I wasn't interested in getting him fired. I was interested in getting him working. But he didn't see it that way, and we didn't see eye to eye through the entire process, and it was tough. But finally I got my agents involved, and that helped tremendously. The company, the agent that I used, as well as the owner of the company, went and sat down in a chair in front of my adjuster with me on the phone, and the adjuster went through and answered all of my questions. But it just seemed like a long way to go to get anywhere for anything. So I understand that insurance can be challenging. But best of luck to you, and I look forward to seeing pictures of the pool table once you've got it set up. And I hope that you've got a really cool light over the top of it. And I know we've got a couple of pool players in the group. I grew up with a pool table at the house, but it's a skill that I just never mastered. So some people got it, I don't. So great stuff. All right, Ron, I'm going to go ahead and move on next to our new friend, Atlanta 760 Tony in Satinaguchi. I know I'm not saying that right, but that's the best I can do, I think. But Tony is, I think he's brand new with us, and I am looking forward to getting to know you. Hopefully you can make it to our gathering on August 7th. Tony, do you have any comments about insurance or any other general info or news for us? Atlanta 760, Tony. All right. Well, Tony is brand new on the network, and I just want to say welcome, Tony. Maybe I missed your in and out. Hopefully you're still monitoring. But I'm going to go ahead and show you as in and out for now, and we'll move on with the program. But we definitely are looking forward to hearing from you and getting to know you a little bit. We also have Atlanta 403, Bobby in White County. Bobby's helping me out remotely with the live stream and monitoring and just making sure things are working smoothly from that end of things, because it's something I can't monitor while I'm on the air. Next on my list is Atlanta 138, Robert in Auburn, also in and out tonight. Atlanta 948, Gary in Woodstock, in and out tonight. We have Atlanta 644 Sean in Alpharetta. Sean, do you have any insurance stories or any other news or information for the group?
Hey there, Jason, and a good evening to everyone on the net. I don't really have any
All right, Sean. Well, you started off nice and strong, and then you faded, and you were no longer holding the repeater. But I think I did hear that you didn't have any stories, but I didn't hear much after that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you as in and out as well, since your signal faded so much. If you want to come in again, you can. Just know that like I say, you came in strong at first, but then your signal faded drastically and you were no longer holding the repeater. Next on my list is Atlanta 780 Houston in Austell. Houston, do you have anything you'd like to talk to the net about?
Well, I don't know if it's good or bad, Justin. They finally come up with a figure and approved everything on the house, and we're just waiting for them to get started to work on it now. I know if you had a house built between 1970 and 1978, if they've got drywall in it, you've got asbestos in your house. Insurance companies do not like asbestos. And it takes forever to get to the state of Georgia, evidently, to allow them to remove it. But, yeah, it's coming on along.
Well, I've heard you talk about that particular challenge with the asbestos, and I didn't know that it was going to put this much of a delay on things. When was the fire?
That would be on May 4th.
Wow, that is that is a long time to be in a hotel room or in a camper or any place other than home. Well, Houston, I sure hope that they're able to put things back together in a suitable fashion, and that your personal possessions are well accounted for, and you'll be compensated properly for them, the things that were lost, and hopefully, when it's all said and done, you'll be back and better than ever. So, but you know, we got a long ways to go before we'll know how that all plays out. But that is a challenge, and Houston, I just, you know, I don't know what to say, because you know, when we had the floor damage here, they put us up in a hotel for a few weeks, and for us, it was particularly challenging because we had dogs, we had chickens, and we had to be on the property every day to take care of the animals, and contractors in and out, and I wasn't comfortable leaving the house, you know, unattended for so long, and I'm sure that you have many of the same feelings, and so ultimately we moved back in, and we were here through the reconstruction, most of it, and it was inconvenient for the contractors, and it was inconvenient for us. And the insurance company complained about it a little bit, but when it was all said and done, it was cheaper for us to be here than for us to not be here. So they ultimately cooperated, but you know, we had plenty of frustrating issues with the insurance company for that. But you know, like I say, when we had the damage claim on the house in Fort Wayne, that was I don't know how that could have gone any better. We never would have made those home improvements had there not been, I mean, because they were going to reside one side of the house, because basically the damage was so extensive in that wall that they were going to have to reconstruct a lot of that wall. So since they're going to tear the siding off, let's put new siding on. Since we're going to put new siding on that part of the house, we paid the difference to have new siding put on the rest of the house. And you know, it just it was an opportunity to make a substantial improvement to the home for a minimal cost, and so it was a win for us in the long run. Hope that it all wraps up smoothly. Chattanooga 58, Bill in Chattanooga. Bill, are you hanging out with us tonight? Do you have any insurance stories for the group?
Good evening, Justin. No, I don't. I don't have any insurance stories to tell you, but you got a good signal here. I'm off of the Lookout Mountain repeater. But anyway, I don't have a whole lot to say, so I'll turn it back to net control. This is WREC 529 Chattanooga 58, back to net control.
All right, Bill. Well, I don't know what your what you're capable of, what your area of travel is going to be, but if you're at all able to make it down to the north side of Lake Allatoona on August the 7th, we sure would love to see you there. It'd be great to visit with you in person and share a meal and perhaps a few gifts as well. So take a look at our Facebook page, and you know, if that doesn't work for you, send me an email. You can do that by sending it to Justin, Justin, at northgeorgianggmrs.org, North Georgia GMRS. Just the letters, nggmrs.org. Justin at nggmrs.org will get an email to me, and I'll get you some specific information by way of email if you're able to come. That would be terrific. Next on my list is McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. Tim, do you have any insurance stories? I bet you do. Do you have any news or information for the group?
Good evening, Justin, and the rest of the group there, and good evening to the net. I've been pretty lucky with insurance overall. Never had house insurance type claims, but just in the last 5 years, I've been hit in the front end twice in my work truck due to no fault of my own. Once I was on Jonesboro Road turning left into a chicken joint, and the guy behind me in a brand new Camaro decided I wasn't turning fast enough and decided to clip my front end off as I was trying to make a left-hand turn. And I was kind of skittish about, is he going to have insurance and all. Turned out he was driving his girlfriend's car, and she was in the car with him, and she was none too happy, I can tell you. But turned out they had real good insurance. It was that Farmer's Insurance, I believe it was. And my truck being almost 30 years old at the time, it was kind of hard to find parts for it. And but their insurance company got on it real quick and got me an estimate, got my truck in the shop. And it took them 2.5 months just to find a front bumper for my truck. So I was driving around in a brand new Sienna Toyota for about 2.5 months on their dime. And so that worked out pretty good. Got my truck back in good shape. And then a couple of years later, about 1.5 years ago, girl in the Big Lots parking lot in Stockbridge up here just decided she didn't want to wait to make a right-hand turn, hit reverse and pounded on the accelerator pedal and just crashed right into my front end. And I was parked stopped about 5 car lengths behind her, and she just did a reverse and come and tore up my rear end. And, well, that insurance wanted to, let me take a break. That insurance company wanted to total my truck, and I told them no. So we worked out a pretty good deal. It didn't go in the shop, but I got enough money to buy all the parts I needed and install them myself. I just needed a new hood from the junkyard, and the hood I got looked better than the one I had anyway, and a new grill and 2 headlight bezels. And I did need another new front bumper, because it had a dent in it, but it wasn't all that bad, and I couldn't find the bumper anywhere. So I still have the same bumper on there, but everything else got replaced. So all in all, things have worked out pretty good between me and the insurance companies that I've had to deal with. So that's my story.
Ah, very good, very good. I'm glad that you came out square, even though you had to do some of the work yourself. You know, that when a vehicle gets totaled, you never come out square. So that's good stuff. All right, Tim. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and move on and check in with Atlanta 104, Lynn in Buford. Let's see, Lynn was in and out. And so was Atlanta 753, Mike, Land O'Lakes, Florida, in and out with us this evening. Mike, thanks for watching us on the YouTube stream. Glad to have you in there with us. And like I said before, wish you could enjoy it from the comfort of home, but I'm confident you'll be there soon enough. Atlanta 417, William in Auburn is in with us tonight. William, do you have any stories for insurance successes or victories you'd like to talk about? Atlanta 417, William in Auburn. You must be in and out. All right, Atlanta 417 must be in and out, and I just missed that in log, so we're going to go ahead and mark it that way now and move right along to Atlanta 292, Derek in Rockmart. Derek is in and out tonight, so thanks you guys for checking in, and that brings me next to Atlanta 756. I have Russell in Marietta. Russell, is this the first time you've checked in with us? Atlanta 756, Russell. Are you in there with us? All right, well, I think it's my fault because nobody really likes to talk about insurance. But we're going to go ahead and show Russell is in and out tonight, and thanks for that check-in. And move on next to Atlanta 252, Shad in Emerson. Shad, are you hanging out there with us tonight?
With the weather, we're trying to.
You having weather over there now?
It's hit or miss right now here. We're on Lake L10 over here in Emerson.
Yeah, there's no weather here, but and I'm not that far from the lake, but it's a big lake. What about insurance stories? Do you have any for us? I got covered up in noise in most of that. Can you try that one more time? Nice and loud.
In my personal life, Atlanta 312 handles it, and at work, the city clerk handles it for me.
Well, you got it made then. There is no better way to go through life than not having to deal with insurance. That's fantastic. I don't know how you score that, but I'd take it if I could get it. That's good stuff. Well, be sure and pass on to Atlanta 312 our thanks for committing to that order. Hopefully that's not any trouble getting that done in time for August 7. And we look forward to seeing you and her there then. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and see if Atlanta 721, David in Rockmart, has any stories for us.
Hey, Justin. Hello, everyone on the net. Outside of a few minor fender benders for trucks, I do a lot of driving. I haven't had an insurance claim either. Although the gentleman that come by and knocks on the doors trying to sell you a new roof was able to give me a new roof because we had the Atlas Chalet shingles. So State Farm actually come through on us and replaced the roof and actually worked the deductible in there, so we came out of pocket into $0. So it's pretty nice. But I'm currently looking for another insurance company because they have been increasing the rates higher and higher, and there's no loyalty to stay with companies nowadays. They give the better deals to new customers.
Yeah, you know, and that is the truth. There is no reason to be loyal to a company because they don't seem to reward that. But I'll tell you what my understanding of State Farm is, because my parents have had State Farm insurance for decades, and they are expensive. They're considerably higher than most other companies around them for comparable coverage, but man, they will pay a claim. And my folks have had some substantial claims over the years. The most recent one being 6 or 7 years ago, one of the barns burnt down, and inside the barn was a motorhome and also some tractors and some other farm equipment and tools. My golly, you know, it's a farm shop. It was the coach house slash, you know, implement house for all of the machines and stuff on the farm. So the loss of the motorhome, you know, and shortly after the fire started, my dad had gone into the building and started up the motorhome and backed it out and away from the building, thinking he had saved the motorhome. But what he didn't realize, and I didn't know either, two things. One, the insulation in the walls of a motorhome is just about an inch thick layer of styrofoam. And it's no special variety of styrofoam, and it melts very easily. And that styrofoam had all melted. And apparently it is very, very expensive to remove the siding on a camper and replace the insulation. The other thing is that the roof was warped from the heat. And apparently replacing a roof on a motorhome is enough to total it. So either one of those two conditions doomed that motorhome to being totaled, and because of both, there was no chance it could be saved. So that's a real shame because it was a really nice motor coach, but it was a total loss. And so they replaced that for him. Obviously, they replaced the building. And you know, the building that went up in its place, the fire was so hot it destroyed the concrete, so they had to dig up all the concrete and have that hauled off. But the building that went up in its place was just the prettiest, nicest building, and that was a major, major score on that farm property. That property just sold. In fact, it closes on August 10, so end of an era, end of a 50-some years on that farm. And yeah, so State Farm, they do pay some claims. And I know over the years we had some straight line winds that came through. I remember one storm that came through. They reported the winds. I don't know how they measure this, but they reported the winds at 90 plus miles per hour. And on one side of the barn, it had ripped the tin off of the rafters on probably about 70% of that roof. And at that time, that roof was probably 30 years old, and that whole barn got a brand new roof out of that deal. So that was also another, you know, because the lee side of that roof wasn't really damaged by the wind, but they paid for a new roof, so that building got a new roof about 20 years ago. So State Farm has been known for, at least in my experience, for paying the claim when the time comes, and that's an important aspect. So I suppose that to some degree you have to be cautious of you get what you pay for, and if you're paying for a cheaper insurance, you might also get cheaped out when it comes time for a claim. But who knows? Next on the list is Atlanta 172, Greg in Bremen. Greg didn't know if he was going to be hanging out with us tonight or not, but let's check and see if he's there. Greg, do you have any stories to tell? All right, Greg. Well, we can just barely hear you. You're not holding the repeater, so with that, we're going to go ahead and move on, but we're going to tell you, hope that you're having a good evening, and thanks for hanging in there with us. Next on my list is Atlanta 122 Maureen in Adairsville. Maureen, do you have any insurance stories you'd like to share with the group? Is this your first check-in?
It is my first check-in, and I'm also new to GMRS.
Well, Maureen, you come on the air and you sound like an old pro at this, like you're very comfortable being on the air. So kudos to that. Some folks are very shy about their first time on the air, but you sound fantastic. So welcome to North Georgia GMRS, and we're glad to have you as part of the group.
Thank you. Yeah, as far as the insurance, yeah, I've had great insurance stories. Recently, I used to have a little car, and I had one insurance. It was funny. There were two animals on two separate occasions that decided that they were going to challenge the car. One was a raccoon, and the other one was a groundhog. And both of them lost, and my car got torn up, and the insurance was great to take care of it. But on the other hand, I do want to mention that there is, here locally out in Cartersville, there is a KO Automotive that went up in flames. They used to be our mechanic, and they're struggling to try and put things together because their insurance will not cover everything. So they've got a GoFundMe account out there. So, you know, just wanted to put that out there as well.
Yes, and that's an important point, and I'm glad that you brought that up because you know, just going through the renewals that we recently have gone through has prompted me to go through not just the deductibles and, you know, the obvious numbers, but to kind of dig through a little bit and make sure that the coverage that we're getting is comparable to the coverage that we had. So there's two areas of concern that I have, and one is, you know, my existing coverage covers me for damages to utility services. So if a tree falls on the power that's coming into the house and it tears out the weatherhead and that sort of thing, with my old insurance, that was covered with zero deductible. With my new insurance, it's a lot different, and it sounds to me like I'm going to be exposed to the full deductible if that sort of thing happens. The other thing that I had covered under my old insurance was anything that would go wrong with the septic system other than maintenance stuff. So pumping the tank out periodically isn't covered, but if the leach bed had to be replaced, that would have been covered, and that's not going to be with this new policy. But I'm going to roll the dice on that, and we'll hopefully not have any issues if we do regular pump outs. And at this point, we're doing pump outs about every 2 years. So I'm with just the two of us here, I hope that that'll be adequate. But yeah, that's the thing you have to take a look at is what are your coverages. And I would imagine in a shop like that, some of the things that wouldn't be covered might be the mechanic's individual tools. So if a mechanic is working in a shop, he might need to have his own insurance on those tools, and I would hope that in most cases they do, but I could certainly imagine in some cases they don't. And then some of the other things that may or may not be covered might be some of the specialty tools, like the alignment rack or any computer diagnostics equipment. You know, some of that specialty stuff might not be covered unless you've got specific riders on your policy to cover those things. So yeah, that's tough stuff. Well, I hope that shop is able to get back on its feet and back into business. Thank you, Maureen. It's great to hear you on the air, and welcome to North Georgia GMRS, and looking forward to hearing more from you. Hopefully we'll see you at the gathering on August 7, right around the corner from Cartersville there. Looking forward to that gathering. Next on my list is Noonan29, Marty in Tyrone. I spoke with you earlier today, Marty. It was a very pleasant conversation. But now, let's talk about insurance.
Well, good evening, Justin, and everybody on the net that can hear me. It's Noonan29 in Tyrone. Noonan. Well, I'm not going to cite specific companies because I don't think that's relevant here. However, I heard you say something earlier that having the cheapest company and all that stuff, well, yeah, it's great if you don't need it. That has proven itself to be true over my years. I do pay a bit more for the company I'm with. However, pretty much you call them, you tell them what's going on, and that's the end of it. I either get it taken care of or I never hear anything more about it, albeit I did see a slight bump in rates and such. But, others in the past I've had to squabble with and, had a difficult time getting things covered. Reset here. One of the things I noticed also while you were chatting away there, I think the timeouts, the alligator timeouts on the Noonan repeater may be a little shorter because you dropped out from that repeater but continued on flagship. I can still hear you, but yeah, it's not always the best to go with the cheapest quote unless you're really confident that nothing's ever going to happen. Although, that's a wonderful wishful thought. But in the case of insurance, I don't know if I want to bet that much on it anymore. It really all depends on how much you have to lose. If you have nothing to lose, in my early days as a musician, I carried the cheapest insurance possible. I got hit, and I told the guy that was trying to sue me, I'm a musician. I never heard anything more. It worked perfect. Back to that drum. 29.
I've heard you use that "I'm a musician" excuse more than once. But yeah, it's a get what you pay for world, and I don't know that I have the best insurance as it is today. I don't know that I'll have the best insurance next month when it transitions over. But it's affordable, and I'm comfortable with the coverages, and so I think that's all I can ask for. I know I could get cheaper insurance, but I've been down that road, and I had an issue once where I got rear-ended, and the insurance it all ended up coming out good in the end. It was a Super Sport Monte Carlo, 1987. I love that car. That was just my all-time dream car. And the car got rear-ended, got hit hard enough that I got shoved into the car in front of me. So I had damage on both ends of the car. And took the car home, sat in the driveway, called the insurance company, called the insurance company of the lady that caused the accident, and they sent an adjuster out. And I think it was the day after the adjuster was there. The company called me. I'm not sure exactly what that guy's role was, but he starts explaining to me that the adjuster was out there, and we're going through some numbers and looking at the damage, and it looks like this car is going to be a total. And I said, well, before you go down that road, I want to tell you about my neck. I've got this ache, and it hurts when I turn my head. And the guy I'm on the phone with says, wait. Don't say any more. He says, I want you to know that my adjuster was there, and he said that the motor oil looked like it was changed yesterday. He says the cleanest motor oil he'd ever seen. He said the tires were pristine. He said the interior was pristine. You could eat off of the floors. It was so clean in that car. He says, clearly this isn't just a typical Monte Carlo. This is something special, and we're going to take care of it for you. And they did. And when I got the car back, it was you couldn't tell that it had been damaged. I'm sure an expert would know, but I sure couldn't tell. And I was very pleased with the outcome of that circumstance. But during that whole thing, I had a question that I wanted to ask. And I called my agent. Let me break so that Marty can hear me. And speaking of timeout timers, I know that the Chattanooga timer is shorter too, so I need to be mindful of that. But when I called my insurance company to ask a question, the lady at the desk said, well, I can put you on with the agent, but we're going to have to charge you your deductible. And I thought, isn't that what the commission is for? It doesn't he work for? I'm paying a commission. I would think that he should be representing me, and the least he could do is answer a question. I wasn't filing a claim against my insurance company. It was against the other insurance company, and up to this point they hadn't been involved. I just had a question. And I thought, well, if that's your attitude, I need to find another agent. and eventually we did. It was tough though because every place we went, the rates were higher. So, but we did eventually move on to another company, and there again, not naming names, but I just was appalled at that attitude. So, thank you, Marty, for your comments, and we'll go ahead and move on from there. But once again, thanks. Atlanta 26 in the beautiful Druid Hills. Flip, do you have any comments for the net?
Well, hey everybody, and hey Justin. You know, I've been a State Farm guy for many, many, many years, and I had for many years a awesome agent here in Atlanta. And unfortunately, about 4 or 5 years ago, he retired, and I've been kind of kicked to the curb, and I've got agents that really don't care about me and stuff. So it really is an interesting dynamic. You know, it's a relationship business and all of that. And I've had very good experience with them over the years. They've backed me up on one major issue with an attic fire and a couple other issues, and I've paid them a lot of money over the years. So it's been good relationship generally. Just odd that the agent situation is really falling apart in my world right now. So let me break, but I want to tell you guys an interesting story in the insurance world. So in 2005, my in-laws lived for many years up at Big Canoe, and we played golf up there all the time and all that. And in 2005, the membership decided they were going to elect to go ahead and tear down the clubhouse and rebuild this beautiful golf clubhouse, restaurant, etc. on the same site. And so they spent many months planning, many months negotiating with contractors, architectural review, etc. Membership all approved it. Everything was ready to go. And about this time in 2006, which would have been a year later after they decided to go down this road, there was an end of the world kind of golf tournament because they knew that they were going to not have a clubhouse for a number of months. And literally at the end of that tournament, it was Sunday night, August 2006. Hold on. Again, they had negotiated with a contractor. The contractor literally was bringing the bulldozers the next day to tear down the place. And they were having like a end of the tournament, end of the world, whatever party at the clubhouse, and this rainstorm came over, and a lightning bolt hit the top of the clubhouse with everybody in it, and it caught on fire.
Wow.
And burned to the ground. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but they were going to tear it down anyway. It was interesting.
Well, I have to imagine they saved a lot of money on demolition costs. Because at that point, it would have just been a matter of scooping up the ashes and throwing them in a dumpster.
Well, their argument was, you know, the place was fully insured, so we need to be paid what it would have cost to rebuild it, which they ended up actually capitalizing on, even though they were about to tear it down. Kind of funny.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you know, and that is the obligation that the insurance carrier has. So, yeah, that is a great story. Well, fantastic, Flip. Hey, are you going to make it to the gathering on August 7th?
I am, absolutely. Oh yeah. I always say, you know what I always say, Justin? There's no barbecue like free barbecue. Actually, I am definitely going to make it. The question I have is whether or not Ashley will be with me. And that's why I haven't responded, but I plan to figure that out here shortly.
Well, fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, and hopefully Ashley can make it as well. That would be terrific, and maybe hanging out with the North Georgia GMRS membership will encourage her to come on the air a little bit more. But even if it doesn't, we'd still like to see her and you at the gathering. So I know that right now you've brought a smile to Mike's face He may not be smiling on the outside, but I know that he is on the inside. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on. But glad to hear that you're planning to attend. Next on my list is Atlanta 27 Ashley in Druid Hills, we just spoke about, and she is in and out tonight, but thank you for checking her in with us, Flip. And that brings me to Atlanta 644, Sean in Alpharetta. Sean, do you have any stories for the group?
Hello, good evening, Justin. Just wanted to make sure if I'm coming in this time. Over.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good copy on you. Washing out just briefly at times, but overall good.
Copy that. I was right in the middle of dinner. I had my HT on me. I wasn't able to make it up to my base station. But I don't really have too many insurance stories for the net this evening, other than I was hit on my motorcycle at one time, and was very thankful to have some really good insurance at the time. Brought me back to life, put me together with some titanium, and it really paid off to pay top dollar for top insurance. Over.
Oh man, I can't think of anything scarier than that. You know, when we were on our vacation, we got boxed up in some traffic on Interstate 69, just north of Indianapolis. We were literally 10 minutes from my daughter's house, and we were stopped in traffic with no way to get out of it. And fortunately, it was only about 15 minutes. But when we finally, you know, and as we're sitting there, there's ambulances and fire trucks and police cars whizzing up and down the shoulders. You know, we knew something had happened and it wasn't good. And when we finally got up to where the scene of the accident was and was able to motor on by, there was a motorcycle, and it was busted up pretty good. There wasn't anyone on the ground. I'm thankful for that. I'm hoping whoever it was whisked away by one of those ambulances and is doing fine now. But man, what a scary thing. As fun as those things are to ride, there's a lot of danger there, and people don't see them. Not very long ago, right here on Bell's Ferry, not far from the house, I was pulling a trailer southbound and approaching the place where a right lane comes into play. And because I'm slower, I'm heavy, the first thing that I do when that right lane becomes available is move over into it. And somebody on a motorcycle decided that they were also going to pass me in that right lane. So I didn't even know they were behind me, and I didn't know that they were anywhere near me until they were beside me, hollering at me through their helmet. And, you know, the turn signal's there for a reason, and I can't look out for the motorcycle if they won't look out for themselves. But, you know, it is a two-way street, and we got to be careful out there because the bikes have a right to be out there, and it's a two-way street. It's as much our responsibility to look out for them as it is for the bikers to look out for themselves. And scary stuff, Sean, but I'm glad you're here with us tonight, and glad that that came out okay. Next on my list is Atlanta 435, Marcia incoming. Marcia, is this your first time with us tonight? Atlanta 435, Marcia incoming. Are you out there tonight, or did you check in and out and I just missed that? All right, we're going to go ahead and show Marcia as in and out tonight, and go ahead and move on. Next, we have Atlanta 622, Shane incoming. When you checked in, Shane, I was confused, and I didn't hear your check-in very well, and I thought that there may have been a 436 or something like that, but I didn't hear 436, but I thought, but Marcia's 435, and you're both incoming, and I thought there must be something connected there because you're checking in one right after another, and you're you're both incoming, and, well, that's not the case at all. But, Sean, we've got you in here, Atlanta 644. Shane, Atlanta 622. Lost my place. Shane, do you have any stories to share with us?
No, this is my first time checking in. First time here. No real insurance stories. Made it 25 years. Had a minor fender bender, and can't say enough good about USAA. And other than that, like I said, 25 years.
Well, fantastic. Yes, that's another one that I've heard is really good about paying claims as USAA, and glad to know that that you were taken care of on that. And welcome. I didn't realize this was your first time, Shane. I for some reason that seemed familiar to me, but we've got a bunch of first timers tonight, so that's great stuff. And welcome to the net. Glad to have you in here. You sound great. What brought you to North Georgia GMRS?
I was searching online, and I have a Jeep, and I've got the GMRS because, CDs are kind of the past, and looking forward to learning and thinking about going on to Ham, and I do some forum stuff, so just a way to communicate, and I thought I would help out in community and pay my dues and maybe learn something.
Well, it's a great place to start off on a radio journey. This is where my wife and I started, is in GMRS radio, and we're both general class hams now, but quite honestly, we spend 90% of our radio time right here on GMRS talking with this group of folks, and it's a great place to learn too. One of the things that I really appreciate about this group is on our Facebook page, we encourage new users, new members to ask questions. And one thing that you'll find is that you can ask just about anything, and you'll get good, solid, straight answers. You're not going to get ridiculed. You're not going to get beaten up for, you should have known better or anything like that. This is a great group of folks, and one thing that I find truly remarkable is that as a moderator, I don't have to go through and delete comments or posts because we don't really have anything on this group that needs to be deleted. This is a fantastic group of people, friendly bunch, and we'll look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you can make it to the gathering coming up August 7. Do you think that's something that'll work for you?
I'm going to try. I have a prior commitment. One of my best friend's little boys starting school for the first time ever, and he's having to work. So I may be driving to Florida to watch him the following week, but I may delay my plans to leave until Sunday.
Well, that's pretty cool that you're going to be there for his first day of school. That's a cool thing to do. Well, if you can't make it, and that's the reason why, I think that's a pretty good reason. But we sure would love to have you there. It's great to be able to put a face to the voice when we hear you on the air. And I'm sure that if you monitor throughout the day, you'll find lots of opportunities to chime in and get involved in the traffic. So welcome to the group, and we look forward to hearing you on the air. Next on my list is Atlanta 442, Craig in Ackworth. Craig, can you tell me about any positive insurance stories?
Hey, Justin. Yes, sir, I can. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Mr. Mike there, Atlanta 180, sounding good in there tonight, sir. And thanks for all the hard work on getting the get-together rolling. I do plan on being there myself. And good to hear some new members on there. Heard you talking there to Maureen. I don't remember what the tax number was, but yeah, she was sounding like a pro in there, so always good to hear some members. Let me break. Yeah, so I had a motorcycle get off back in 2017. after riding street bike since 1990 and had been with Geico since day one. Nobody could ever beat them. With them for a long time, didn't have any claim history, etc. over the ownership of several bikes. And unfortunately, I ride those fast bikes and was boogieing up there north of Dutchess on Highway 60 and lost it in the corner and high-sided my bike, got ejected, landed head first, cartwheeled into the woods, several broken bones, was out of work for a little more than 2 months. Went back, was still pretty banged up. And, Geico took really good care of me on the claim. However, when it came time for renewal, my rate quadrupled. So, see where they get their money to pay for all those fancy ads right? Anyway, I switched over to USAA. I'm retired military, so I got USAA. And on motorcycles, they sub out to Progressive. And even with that wreck on my record, my rates were even lower than they ever had been with Geico, with even more coverage and more coverage for aftermarket. That I've ever had insurance-wise was after my remote to Korea, did a year remote when I was in the Air Force there. My follow-on assignment was to Alaska, and I had my automobile insurance with State Farm. And when I tried to transfer it, they dropped me like a hot potato, and I didn't have any claim history either. It was just, I don't know if it was just the weather conditions there, winter driving conditions or whatever, but the agent I was with was in Biloxi, Mississippi, so who knows, go figure. But I have been lucky health insurance-wise, all the years I was in the military. Of course, they took good care of me, and my TRICARE insurance and TRICARE I've had as a retiree, they've taken really good care of me, even during that motorcycle wreck, I gotta say. A lot of those co-pays for all the physical therapy, of course, added up. That's to be expected, but all said, TRICARE took excellent care of me and continue to do so. Hey, I look forward to seeing everybody at the get-together. I plan on being there for sure. So with that, I'll turn it back to Net Control.
Well, fantastic, and scary stuff. These motorcycle accidents. When I was a kid, in fact, I had just turned 16 and just gotten my driver's license, and a friend of mine, the neighbor next door, actually, we were best friends for years, and then as we got into high school, we kind of separated into different groups, hung out with different people. But I had just gotten my driver's license and got news of the accident. He had wiped out on a motorcycle and on the S curves on Highway 37 at the state line there, Indiana and Ohio, and high rate of speed. In fact, they had to pull the bike out of a tree. They had left the road and probably hit something and bounced up into a tree. I don't know. I didn't see anything at the scene, and I don't have any information about the scene, but he didn't make it. And I was in pursuit of a motorcycle at that time, and that was the end of that pursuit. And so I've test ridden 2 bikes, and I've ridden mini bikes and bicycles and things like that, but that was the last time I've been on a motorized bike. Was when I was 16, and just don't have any interest in it. Most of my interest involves driving things with four wheels or more. So I've driven some fairly large trucks, and tractors, and farm equipment, and so on and so forth. But that was the end of my interest in motorcycles. And scary stuff. Now, his accident was his own darn fault. It wasn't traffic. It wasn't somebody that pulled out in front of him or something like that. But man, just like that thing that happened to me on Bell's Ferry the other day. He was pissed off, and I didn't even realize that he had cut into that lane like that. But that could very quickly and easily have turned into a much worse situation. So I appreciate that he was upset, but I'm also a little upset about the fact that he's riding the way that he is, and that close to vehicles and equipment that it can't even be seen. So I think he has to take some responsibility there. But in any case, scary stuff. I'm not suggesting people don't ride. I wouldn't say that for a minute. Absolutely, people should have the freedom to make their own choices, and I completely support that. But for me, I'm going to stay off the silly things, and I'll admire them from right here in my chair. I think they're cool. I like the looks of them. I don't mind seeing them zipping down the highway and that sort of thing. Just not for me, and that's okay. Atlanta 739, Glenn in Canton. Do you have any stories you'd like to share?
I don't know if I have any personal stories. I did have a tornado throw a few trees on a couple of cars back in the 90s, and I had State Farm back then, and they were very quick and very thorough with their claim and their payout. Any other advice, I would say maybe, like for me, I work out of my vehicle, self-employed, so I document my vehicle and upgrade all my tools. That way, if there's ever any theft or fire or loss, that things I may not think of, I just have there for for my agent. Also, I do home inspections for a living, so I hear a lot of stories. I would say if there is a loss, that maybe once you call your agent, obviously the first person you call, I'd also recommend calling a public adjuster. They're usually out there working on contingency, and they're there for you. They're the insurance is sending the adjuster out, which, truth be known, they're working for the insurance company, and that's their main objective. But a public adjuster is there for you, and they can go a little beyond what or a good bit beyond what your agent can, because they're know current code, current building practice, and how the repair can be done, and they're actually there to advise on the proper repairs and can inspect it afterwards. And they may take 10%, 15% on the back end, but they're basically like an attorney, a technical attorney for technical aspects of your house. Even some of the data they're collecting can be used in litigation if it comes to that. So I think a public adjuster, most people may not know about, and I do think they would be a good sorry, had to break. A good ally on your side when it comes down to that. It takes a lot of relief or a lot of pressure off of you, and they can relieve a lot of that extra work going in. So that's probably all I have on that.
Well, I tell you, Glenn, that sounds like great advice to me. It's not something I've ever even really considered. In my experience, it's always been just have the insurance company adjuster come out, and then when the contractor finds things that the adjuster hasn't addressed, raise it with the adjuster at that time, and then argue with them about it. And ultimately, I've had the adjuster make several trips back out onto the property to look at additional items that were missed in his first assessment. And when we had the claim in Indiana, that happened a couple of times, and it was very what am I looking for here? It was not confrontational. It was more like informational. It was like, oh hey, well the contractor found this additional thing that wasn't addressed in the original claim, and they're like, well okay, we'll come by, we'll have a look at it, and we'll see what we can do. But when that sort of thing happened with the claim that we had here in Georgia. The contractor wanted to argue about the whole thing, and one of the first things that he had said was, not the contractor, but the adjuster wanted to argue about it. One of the first things that he'd said is, well, I've already been out there and I've seen it, and that's what we've got to go on. I'm not coming back out there to look at anything else. And so, it was a big fight to get anything beyond his initial assessment addressed. Ultimately, it was, but I think an independent adjuster would have been a fantastic tool to have used in that case. I just never had considered such a thing. So I want to say thanks for bringing that to my attention and to our attention. Good stuff, Glenn. And yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be in the need for a home inspection, but folks, if you're out there and you're looking for a place, keep that in mind. One of ours is an inspector, Atlanta 739. So thanks again, Glenn. Atlanta 657, Sam in Canton. Sam, are you a new member?
Yes, for a couple of weeks now, Justin. Make sure you can read me okay.
You sound great. Have you checked into the net before?
This will be the first time. I tried last week on a handheld and wasn't able to get through, but I did listen to the most of the conversation.
Very good stuff. Well, welcome to North Georgia GMRS. And do you have any stories you'd like to share with the group?
I was thinking about it. Great condition. It was mint condition really inside. Not really a car for me as a teenager, but just a big boat of a car, and real good condition. The paint needed maybe a paint job because it was an older car. It's probably 15 years old, maybe 20 years old at the time. So we went down the highway with my mother. She was driving, and we were just come. We used to put satellite dishes in. At the time, I was helping her with that. She had the business, and I did the technical stuff. And we're coming back from a service call over near Jackson Lake, we're in Covington, Georgia. And I was looking at the equipment, the passenger, and we got sideswiped over near Henderson's, this place over there, I think. But the good thing with the insurance is the car was in great condition anyway, but they did that whole giant car, they put a brand new paint job and everything. So it was really completely in mint condition at that point. So I had this big car I didn't really want, but it was really good condition, so I ended up selling it now.
All right. Well, Sam, we heard most of that, and after the car got sideswiped, it ended up with a fresh paint job in mint condition at that point, so you sold it. But you weren't holding the repeater. It makes me suspect that maybe you have a handheld and you were moving around. So when you first came on the air, you sounded fantastic. So think about the spot that you were in at that time, and go back to that spot, and let's see if we can hear you. I want to ask you if you think you'll be able to make it to the gathering on August 7th.
Yeah, Rex, I'm on a mobile. It's like a Anytone 778 UV, I think. So not a handy, but maybe where I'm at the antenna in my basement here, so that could be part of it. Yeah, I'd like to. I'll probably try to attend the meeting. I'd love to do it. I've been listening to the conversations for the last few weeks, and I know they've been talking about it. They started out as a barbecue place at first, and then kind of moved around. So it's kind of funny. I've really been enjoying the conversations. So I'd like to meet you guys.
Well, fantastic. We're looking forward to meeting you and all of the other new folks that show up, and all the old folks that show up, and some of the really old folks that are going to show up. So there'll be lots of people there. It'll be a lot of fun to put faces with voices, and that'll be fantastic. So we're looking forward to that. On August 7, I didn't ask Glenn if he was coming. I probably forgot to ask a bunch of people, but if I didn't ask you specifically, just know that you are invited, and we would very much love to see you there. And if you're able to attend, please do. So good stuff, Sam, and glad to hear a good news story with the insurance there on that old big car. What kind of a car was it? I missed that part. I know that it was a big car. I just don't know, was it like a Ford LTD or what was that thing?
If I remember right, it was like a 72 Buick Citroen or something like that. It was a big four-door brownish car, but like I said, really good condition, but it's really not for somebody like a teenager. It just didn't fit me in the 80s there.
I once had a, I don't know, I think it was 70, 71, 72 Ford LTD. That car was bigger than some motorhomes I've seen. That thing was just enormous. It had a great big block engine in it. It had terrible fuel mileage. It didn't go very fast, but it made a lot of noise doing it. And that thing was the very definition of a land yacht. You know, you would adjust the steering wheel to make a turn, and then you would continue traveling straight for a little while, and then it would start to turn. And that thing was just a terrible, awful car. But it was huge, and yeah, I think I had that for about... I remember once that thing stalled. We were going up a hill, not a big hill, not a Georgia hill. This is an Indiana hill. We were going up a hill, and it stalled. It just gave up about 2/3 of the way up the hill. So I put it in neutral, and I'm cranking it, trying to get it to start. And I must have flooded it. I'm quite certain I flooded it. It tried to fire up, but what I ended up getting was this massive fireball rolling out from underneath the hood and licking right up to the top of the windshield. It was just the most amazing thing to see, doing 50 or 60 miles an hour on a state highway out in the middle of nowhere. But it did finally end up starting up just about the time we got to the top of the hill, probably down to about 30 miles an hour, and I was able to slip it back into gear and continue on. Strangest thing. I don't understand why that car couldn't go up a hill, but it happened more than once. But it was at one time that we had that big ball of fire roll out from the air cleaner. So strange stuff, those big old cars. But looking forward to seeing you there. Next I have on my list Atlanta 308, Dan in Marietta. Dan, are you do you have any stories for us, and are you planning on going to the gathering?
Hey, good evening, Justin. I think you found your next topic. I'm thinking of my first car in the land yacht that was in 1995, but it was a 1979 Pontiac Phoenix that I got from my grandmother. And man, I was excited. I think it was that old and only had 10,000 miles on it or something like that. I'm going to try to make it out on the 7th. I'll reply to the Facebook post. Looking forward to meeting everyone. That'll be fantastic. I echo a lot of comments I've heard tonight on the insurance. I think it comes down to your agent. My recent story, it's been a couple of years ago now. I was driving home from the ball field in one of those late evening storms that blew up and actually connected with a tree that the wind blew over as I was going about 50 miles an hour down the road. Brand new F-250.
Oh.
And what was interesting is the original claim information, I guess, was documented in such a way that it was a collision with a tree, and therefore, there was going to be a high deductible and a lot of potential impact to my rate. Well, when the agent took a look at some of the photos and compared my story to what he saw in the file, he actually wound up saving me a deductible and a ton of money down the line because the tree never made it to the ground. He saw the way you could see the impact of my truck and the tree sort of at an angle where I connected with it as it was falling and made the case that it was the break there. It made the case that it was I guess they call it comprehensive or whatever instead of a collision, which saved me a lot of money. He's since retired, and wish him well, but I think it comes down a lot to the agent as much as it does the company.
Yeah, I think that does make a big difference, and I like the story that I told about the agent that wanted me to pay a deductible in order for him to answer a question. Attitude, I ended up having a conversation with that agent and explained to him why I was so dissatisfied, and he defended his receptionist's position that if I talk to you, there has to be a claim associated. And if there's a claim associated, then you have to pay a deductible. And I thought, well, by golly, what do I pay you a commission for? And he didn't really have an answer for that. And I thought, well, this guy's got to go. And go he did. It was really a bizarre thing because the whole reason we had that particular insurance agent is because he attended the same church that we went to, and he was recommended to us by a family member, and you never would have expected someone to take an attitude like that in a circumstance like that. But that was his position, and I don't know where he's at today, but he's not my agent. But that's good stuff. I'm glad to hear that the tree was handled as a comprehensive and rather than a collision. That does make sense with those details in mind. But I could see where that could very easily have gone the other way. And that reminds me also of a circumstance when I was a kid. I was driving one of my dad's trucks, and we were probably going faster than we should have been. We were in a residential neighborhood on a rainy, wet, windy night. And at the last moment, I realized the place I was going to was on the left. I needed to make that turn. So I whipped the wheel, and the truck tried to turn left, but it ended up sliding into someone's front yard and taking out a small tree. And that wrinkled up the front of the hood and the bumper and the grill, and you can imagine all of that. In the process of that happening, it also damaged the pitman arm on the steering gear, and because the steering became damaged in that incident, that also was considered a comprehensive accident rather than a collision. Now, had they known the full details of that circumstance, they probably would have seen it the other way around. But my mom sold it to the insurance company as the steering became damaged and caused the wreck, when in fact it was the wreck that caused the damage to the steering. But I was just a kid, and probably shouldn't have been driving under those conditions, and certainly not with the crew of people and the time of night and the weather and so on. So, yes, the circumstances can make a big difference in how that gets handled. And glad to hear that you got taken care of at the end of the story. So that's the end of our list at this point. We have 39 check-ins, but we can hang out here for a minute and see if we have anyone else that would like to check in. And any additional comments, questions, or remarks, the floor is open. Net Control standing by.
This is Atlanta 26.5, Jack, in the beautiful Druid Hills, as Flip likes to say.
Atlanta 26.5. Jack in the beautiful Druid Hills. Good evening and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Net. Do you have any stories you'd like to share?
Unfortunately, not really. I'm in my early 20s, so I just got my first job, and we're looking through the benefits package, trying to decide what insurance to get. But this is small, but also my name is spelled with a Q, because I am a girl, but I know that's confusing over the radio.
Short for Jacqueline.
Short for Jacqueline.
I remember the Jacqueline because I remember being confused by that very early on when Flip first became involved in the network, and so I do recall that little bit of confusion, at least on my part. But it's fantastic to hear you in here, and thank you for that correction, Flip. I would not have made that correction, so I appreciate that. But it's great to hear you in here. And yes, that's another form of insurance that we haven't really talked about, and that is, the insurance benefit that most of us get as employees, as a health care benefit. And we really haven't touched on that at all. And that's probably a whole topic for another net, because man, I've got some stories and opinions, and that man, the American healthcare system is a mess, and it really shouldn't be that hard to fix, but nobody wants to address the real issues, and that is the price fixing that the insurance companies engage in with regard to healthcare and healthcare expenses. So, anybody who's really looked into any medical claims can know that when you get your initial bills, they are huge. But then when you see that the insurance company has negotiated a different price, and that's the amount that they pay, and that's the amount that the healthcare provider is obligated to provide that service to you for, it makes you have to wonder, what are the real costs? What did that service actually cost to perform? Because the healthcare provider, even though they've negotiated a different rate with the insurance company, they still have to be profitable. They have to pay the light bill. They have to pay their staff. They have to pay their liability insurance. They have to pay for the facilities and the depreciation and all of these business expenses, and they have to be able to do that at whatever money they bring in. So when they negotiate these rates with the insurance companies, they have to negotiate a rate that's favorable to them. Otherwise, they can't remain in business. We know this to be the truth, and yet we see these crazy insurance billings that come about, and it just makes you think. If you're a cash customer, you should be able to go in and have whatever service at the best possible price. You should be front of the line, king of the world in terms of service when you're showing up and you're paying cash. But that's not the case at all. As a cash customer, they're going to send you the bill for whatever their inflated amount is, and if you haven't negotiated something with them prior, that's what you're obligated to pay. So the healthcare system is a mess, and navigating it is challenging. But congratulations on the new job, and I hope that your healthcare package has some good options for you. It can be very challenging to sort all of that out, and I'm glad that Flip is there to help you with that. So good stuff, Jacqueline. Great to have you on the air, and great to hear you. Let's go ahead and take another break and see if we have any additional North Georgia GMRS Regional Net late check-ins.
This is
I am at 20 WRMV 225. Comment from net control from McDonald 22 when you have time to visit. Justin.
This is Atlanta 295 WRFN 658. Good evening, Justin and Annette. This is Atlanta 912 WQXN 735 Afonso from Marietta, checking in and checking out.
WRJB 975, Atlanta 684, checking in. Aaron, Jonesboro.
Signal JI-850, Atlanta 622, checking out. Clear.
This is Atlanta 644. I was wondering if I could add a comment to my insurance story, Justin.
Okay, let me go ahead and acknowledge what we've got right here. I have Atlanta 912, Alfonso from Marietta checking in and out. Thank you, Alfonso, for checking in tonight. Great to hear from you. I have Atlanta 20, Tom. Didn't get a chance to look up your location, Tom. I think it's LJ. Got you in for the evening, so we'll come back to you in just a moment. I have Atlanta 295, Scott in Dallas checking in tonight. Great to hear from you. Date night must be through, so thanks for checking in. And I have Atlanta 684, Aaron in, let's see, I missed that. I was just there a moment ago, and I moved away, so let me look here real quick. Jonesboro. Aaron in Jonesboro. And I heard McDonough 22 with a comment and someone else with a comment. So, Tim, if you don't mind, stand by for one moment with your comment, and let me hear from the other voice that had that comment.
Justin, it was Atlanta 644. I also had another comment.
All right, Atlanta 644. Let's go ahead with that comment.
I just wanted to add, and maybe it would help out Jacqueline. My motorcycle accident, it was actually no fault of my own. I was T-boned on the left side, and it just happened to be by a musician. So I was in the music industry for about 27 years, and the last band I worked with, they were one of the top touring bands in the world, so they offered a real good healthcare plan, and I was lucky to purchase the top plan in there. So I would suggest, it's usually worth it. You get a pretty good deal if they have a group rate to buy the best plan you can get. It basically saved my life.
Yeah, and I would concur that, take a look at what's being offered, and don't be afraid of the costs, because this is different than your auto insurance. This is the kind of insurance that can make a difference and sometimes can make a lifelong difference. So I think that Sean has some great words of wisdom there. And, man, you got to watch out for those musicians, especially the one in Tyrone. But I'm just kidding about that. But good stuff, Sean. I appreciate that. Atlanta 22, your comment, please. The McDonough 22. Maybe that was McDonough 22. Somebody with a 22. Come on back with your comment.
Yeah, Justin. I was just going to throw in, going back to 657, Sam's story about his Buick there. You said you had trouble picking up him holding onto the repeater, and just FYI, I heard his entire traffic. I didn't hear any dropouts on it. The only trouble I had, I think he was saying he had a Buick Century, which they made from about 73 till 2005. But I think he had a little trouble remembering what the model of that car was, and his pronunciation was a little weird. But other than that, I heard his entire traffic. And as far as Jacqueline is concerned, there's a famous character on the TV show NCIS who also is a female named Jack. So I'll throw it back to net control. That was my comment. Thank you.
All right, Tim. Good stuff. Well, as I said, I think I might have a receive issue here in the studio. I might have to look at this antenna and see if I've got something going on here. But I'll have to dig into that probably over the weekend. For now, thanks for that clarification, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to my new check-ins. We have Atlanta 912 Alfonso in Marietta in and out tonight. We have Atlanta 20 Tom, I believe in Ella J, is in with us this evening. Tom, do you have any comments for the net? I wonder if that was Tryon 20 that had called. And maybe I didn't hear the call very well. Terry, was that you?
That was me, Tryon 20 up here in Somerville. How are you and everyone doing this evening?
Excellent. I'm going to make a correction here in the log, and we'll go ahead and put Terry in here instead of Tom. I heard the 20. I just didn't hear the rest of it, and for whatever reason, my mind went to Atlanta 20 and in Ellijay. But we've got you in here now, and welcome to the net once again, and appreciate you being here. Do you have any questions or comments for the net? Do you have any insurance tales you'd like to tell?
Well, we've had the same insurance for the past 30 years now. Alpha has been a great insurance company. I live on a grass airfield, and about 15 years ago, our hangar got totally destroyed by a tornado.
Oh, my God.
As far as the airplane at all, for some reason, it still sat there. Took the hangar totally away.
Wow.
Then about 5 years after that, we got a detachable garage. Another tornado come through and took it away. And all the insurance company ever asked was for me to send pictures and get it repaired. That's hard to beat.
That is hard to beat. You know, there was a fire on my dad's farm 6, 7, 8 years ago. Took out a barn. I talked about it earlier. It totaled that motor coach. And he was telling me a story about how he'd met a guy trying to sell him insurance for tornadoes, and he says, I don't believe I know how to start a tornado. I said, Dad, I don't think you should tell that joke.
I understand. Also, many years ago, but when I was still in the radio TV station business, we had a 50-foot tower behind our studio, and we had a nice paved parking lot there. And at the end of the parking lot was a what you call a speed bump, but we call it, went all the way around. It was about 8 inches high, and beyond that was just grass, nice, clean-cut grass. So this gentleman in a pickup truck decided that would be a good place to go turn around, so he jumped over the curve there, went up into the grassy part, caught one of the guide wires for the tower with his bumper, and proceeded to pull the 60-foot tower down with the remote antenna that we use for remotes. And so when the insurance adjuster from his insurance company showed up, all he had to say was, I don't see a sign anywhere that says don't drive on the grass. So I just asked him to leave, and that was the end of that.
Oh, my golly. So that I suppose the insurance company tried to refuse to pay on that because there was no indication. That's just crazy because if he had to go over a curb to get into the grass, I don't know. That kind of thing just really aggravates me. But it's amazing that the hangar got picked up and destroyed, but the airplane, which has all kinds of surface to pick up and catch the wind, stayed put. That is truly a remarkable thing. I just marvel at that. I believe it to be the truth because I have seen damage from tornadoes. Up where I'm from, there are a lot of Amish, and we were about I'm going to say 2 miles away from a farm that a tornado had gone through, and we could tell that it was taking one of the barns up because we could see all the debris in the air. And that tornado had come through that farm and missed 2 buildings and took out a fairly large building, and then traveled across the road and missed the house across the road and took out some other small buildings like chicken coop sized buildings. And it was just remarkable, the buildings that were completely destroyed and the things that looked like nothing had happened at all. But what was even more remarkable was that it was less than 10 days later the Amish had those barns put back together, all the debris cleaned up, and everything restored back to normal. Pretty amazing how they can come together like that and make that sort of a thing happen. But I've got a buddy who flies, and I've had the opportunity to enjoy some private aviation. He has just recently acquired another airplane, so I might have to look you up. We might be looking for a
just company-wise, the most pleasant company I have ever dealt with in my life, if of any company, hands down. But that and date night got canceled, trivia got canceled, so it was just a dinner date night, so we were home early. All right, back to the net, Justin.
Well, I'd say that is a very, very good thing to not have insurance stories. So keep that up. Stay between the lines there, and good news. So thank you for that. Next on my list is Atlanta 684 Aaron in Jonesboro. Aaron is in and out, and he is the last one on my list. But before I go back and ask for additional check-ins, I want to bounce back to both Terry and Scott, and let's go to Tryon 20 first. And Terry, are you going to be able to make it to the gathering on August 7th? All right. Well, Terry may have stepped away, and that's okay. We're going to go ahead and ask the same question of Atlanta 295. You think you'll make the gathering on August 7th?
Well, working in retail is sometimes hard to get off a Saturday, and I'm pretty sure I'm scheduled to work that day. But, you know, I have never called in sick the whole time I've worked here. I just might have to take a sick day.
Oh, a little summertime fever. That could happen. You never know. Well, Atlanta 296 is invited also. So, maybe she can show up without you. But it'd be better if you were there too. I think that we would all enjoy that. So, with that, we'll go ahead and move on, and see if we have any additional check-ins, any late check-ins for the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Net Control standing by.
WRKZ 366, Atlanta 560. Justin, I tried to check in earlier. I wasn't 100% sure. I was talking when we had some doubles coming in there. Just wanted to make sure I got checked in and out.
This is Atlanta 911 WARS 515 Cassandra and Woodstock.
All right, McCoy, Atlanta 560. No, I don't think I had you in here, so I'm glad you came back and tried again. Don't know why I missed you, but I certainly did. But we've got you in here now, so I guess that's what counts. And we have Atlanta 911, the Candy Striper, in here tonight. Looking forward to chatting with both of you. Let's go to Atlanta 560, McCoy. Do you have any insurance stories or any other news or info for the group tonight?
Well, yes, I've had lots of insurance stories. The one that sticks out or meant the most to me was I had an accident on a four-wheeler. Long story, but anyway, if it wasn't for insurance, I'd be owing about $150,000, and because I had medical insurance, I've only had to pay about $20,000. So I'm very happy that I had medical insurance, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, it sure is, and that reminds me, I guess it's been 8-10 years ago, but my mom had she had a surgery on her back. She had several vertebrae fused because of some back pain issues, some chronic pain issues that she'd had. And before the surgery, they'd filed all the stuff with the insurance company, and they'd gotten a letter back with the insurance company saying that the procedure had been approved. But on the bottom of that letter was some fine print, and basically the fine print said that the approval is provisional and conditional, and it's this and it's that and it's the other thing, and they may or may not pay. Well, it's all in the fine print, and no one really acknowledged that, not even the doctor beforehand. So they have a letter in her hand that basically says that it's approved, and so that's what they went on. Well, the procedure was done, and when it was time for the insurance company to pay out, they said, we're not going to pay it out because you should have had physical therapy first. You should have sought a second or a third opinion. And they had several reasons why they didn't feel that they were obligated to pay the claim, despite this letter that said it was approved. And so, I guess, I don't know if that's a game they play. I don't know how that stuff works, but even when you've got insurance, you still have to be really super careful about things of that nature. So they went into the deal expecting to be fully insured, to pay a reasonable deductible, and when they came out of it, they were $86,000 in debt, just like that. And to this date, the insurance company still has not paid. But the story did end with a reasonable solution. But it wasn't because of the insurance company. They still refused to pay. So I'm glad that your case didn't turn into a massive debt as theirs might have. But yeah, that's the challenge that we face. Gotta be sure you understand that fine print. Atlanta 911, Cassandra, do you have any insurance stories you'd like to share with the group?
Well, Justin, once upon a time on a nice Friday the 13th, I'm just kidding. I actually do have a couple, but I'm sure you're chuckling at that day.
Oh yes, Friday the 13th, the night you tried to kill me.
Yes, the night I tried to kill Justin. So, anyways, no, I actually, not necessarily an insurance situation. I've used warranty and insurance. I've got insurance on my cameras and my phone and my computer, so I've used that kind of insurance. But I have an insurance story. Last year, right as COVID was kind of shutting everything down, I decided to go light up my grill, and it was making a funny noise. I think you've heard this story. And basically, my regulator was bad, and suddenly I had a 7-8 foot flame right outside my house. Was able to put it out with a fire extinguisher very quickly, no issues. But my insurance agent, who is a friend of mine, I'm going to break. Okay, I'm back. My insurance agent, who is a friend of mine, and is never on Facebook, like once every 2 or 3 weeks, happened to see it on Facebook and called to check on me, and ended up going and standing in line. This is back when Home Depot had lines outside, and they were only letting like 30 people in at a time. Stood in line for an hour to go buy me a new fire extinguisher.
I remember that story. Yeah, I got a brand new fire extinguisher out of the deal. I think that's hilarious, and so whatever happened with that grill? Did you fix it?
Believe it or not, Nick, my friend who's over here helping me with the house, tried to take the regulator, disconnect it from the grill, needed another part that we didn't have. I went and got that, and the grill and the back waiting to be moved over to the new house, and hopefully a new regulator and tank installed on it.
Crazy stuff. Yes, I do remember that story, and exciting times. There's always the charcoal option as well.
Yes, and I have that grill up on the porch where you put it by the pond. So, anyways, that wasn't necessarily an insurance story because I didn't have to use insurance, thankfully, because I had a fire extinguisher very handy. That was more of a customer service from your insurance agent, and also a PSA, have a fire extinguisher handy, know where it's at, and be able to very quickly get it.
because I had that 20-second meltdown moment of what do I do? Do I grab the hose? Do I call 911? Is this tank going to explode? It was probably about 15 feet from my house. I'm thinking my house was going to go up in flames, but I remembered I had the fire extinguisher underneath the kitchen sink about 15 feet away. So it all ended very well.
Yes, and then you move the grill to the porch. That's a brilliant idea. I think that's perfect. And probably your insurance agent is listening. So if I were you, I'd move that grill back up there onto that patio so it's away from the house. But you do whatever you think is right. All right, let's make one last call for any late check-ins, and net control standing by.
Hey, Justin, this is Atlanta 402 incoming. Can I comment?
Hey, Todd, you sure can. Come on in here. What have you got?
Well, I've been sitting patiently listening to the fodder about the insurance claims, and I have a nightmare story, and I've been following 780's trials and tribulations. I'll break. While I am Todd in Cumming, actually it should be Todd in Sugar Hill. My primary residence is in Sugar Hill, and I had a electrical fire in my kitchen back in November of 2016. And I won't mention the name of the insurance company, but it was I'll call them one of the big twos. And we have 2 houses and 4 vehicles insured through them. And they came out and did everything pretty much right, and they gave me an option of either paying me for all the damage, which they had to completely remove all the contents of my house, all the furniture, clothing, bedding, everything to get ozonated. And I knew their estimate was way too low, so I went for their in-house option, which was using one of their contractors. And that was a big mistake. It was supposed to be about a 2 to 4 month job, replacing all my flooring, repainting the entire house. And 2 years, I'll fast forward 2 years from 2016, and it still wasn't done. And when I finally was able to turn my gas back on from the gas company, they had to come out because I had to put a lock on the terminal outside, and they had broke a major gas pipe down in the basement. So if I had moved in, my house would have exploded again. But long story short, so we're running late. 5 years later, roughly, and anyway, the house is completely done, but I have still not been paid for all my contents because even though I had complete coverage for all the contents for replacement, they are telling me to buy everything new and then they will pay me for it. Well, I don't really need it because I'm not living there because I had a second home. But anyway, it's been a nightmare, and hope nobody ever has to live through that process.
Oh yeah, and it's just so frustrating when something should be simple and they just make you jump through hoop after hoop after hoop. I think they do a lot of that in hopes that you'll just give up and leave the money on the table. It sure seemed like that with the deal that we had here at this house, but we kept after them. We didn't give up, and we finally got a reasonable settlement when it was all said and done. But yeah, that can be pretty challenging. All right. Well, thank you for your comments, Todd, and looking forward to hearing you back in Sugar Hill. Do you have any plans of attending the event on August 7th?
Justin, I hope I can. I'm going to have to reach out to the social director and see what she has planned for the 7th, but I had talked to Mike, and I'm going to do my best to make it.
Well, we hope that you do, and bring the social director along. I think we'll all have a lot of fun, and it'll be great spending time with one another. With that, I'm going to go ahead and take one more call for any additional questions, comments, or late check-ins. Net Control standing by. All right, well, I think that is my cue. So at this time, Net Control will return repeaters back to normal use. This will conclude the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. We had a total of 46 check-ins tonight. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Thank you for allowing me to serve as your Net Control this evening. Good night, everyone. This is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514. Justin, and I'm clear. All right, YouTube folks, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully this one went a little bit better. I noticed there were a couple of hiccups along the way. Hopefully they weren't too long, but I still don't know why that's happening, and I'm going to have to do some research and see if I can sort that out. So with that, have a great evening, have a great week. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Mike in Land O'Lakes, get well soon. We'll talk to you later.
WRNA 237 checking out.